here today with Claudia Selli and Steve Bianco, members of ICANN's Commercial and Business Users Constituency. This is a group that sits within the commercial stakeholder group of the Generic Name Supporting Organization. And you're going to tell us a little bit about what the BC is about, your members, as well as the policy topics that you focus on, I think. So welcome. And I think the first thing we should cover is what is the BC? What is the role of the BC, your mission within the GNSO and ICANN?
The business constituency's mission is to look after the interests of businesses who register domain names and business customers and users who rely upon the domain name system to reach the websites and email addresses of the businesses that have created them. And we really look at three priorities. We want the domain name system to be so trustworthy that businesses and their customers can be confident that they're getting to the domain name they were actually seeking. We also want to be sure that there's competition amongst all the different suppliers who provide domain name registration and registry services. And finally, we look for a domain name system where the unique identifiers are secure, stable, and reliable.
Thank you, Steve. And I can imagine that that must span quite a lot of interests, countries, and topics. Perhaps we can talk a little bit about your membership, who your members are, what your membership criteria is. So Claudia, would you mind telling us a little bit about those topics?
Of course. So BC members, as Steve has been saying, are usually internet business users that really use the internet to conduct their businesses. And we have small and large enterprises, and we are a very diverse group. In fact, we have, first of all, we have 76 members of the business constituency, and we have 13 members who are from Africa, 8 members who are from Asia, 10 members that are from Europe, and then 4 from Latin America, and the rest is North American businesses. So it's also, we are really diverse also in terms of gender. In fact, we have 32% of the business constituency enterprises are represented by women, and believe it or not, but in the leadership nowadays we have 4 women out of 6 officers. So this is very encouraging to see that there are more women stepping up, and I'm very happy, as you can imagine, about that. But also in terms of criteria, you have to be eligible to be a BC member. You need to be a business that is conducted business over the internet, and I mean, non-eligible members would be typically an NGO or a political organization or a registrant that would have more than 30% of their revenues in their business. And so we have a credential committee that actually is looking at the applications, and then they would, if they need more information, they would reach out to the people, talk with the people, and but we do all we can to get diversity, to get new members in, and we are a very welcoming group of people that try to engage these newcomers.
That's very encouraging, and clearly congratulations on enrolling a number of increasing members from across the globe, and obviously diversity is very critical to us here at ICANN. Steve, you outlined earlier the mission and the role of the business constituency. Maybe you could elaborate on that and tell us about the policy topics and issues that the business constituency tends to focus on at ICANN?
Yeah, one category of our focus is the governance of ICANN itself. And the BC was proud to have been the designer of most of the new mechanisms by which the ICANN community of registrants and users holds the ICANN organization and board accountable to that community as part of the transition out of the US government oversight in 2016. And when we turn to policies that are cooking within the ICANN kitchen, we almost always are looking from the perspective of availability and integrity. The availability of registrations and resolutions in any language, 24/7, in any corner of the world. They need to be there for the business community to reach its customers. When it comes to the integrity of registrations and resolutions, we want to be sure that when you reach a domain name through an email or a website, that you're really reaching the website that you want it to. We want to be sure that there's integrity, that if promises were made about what you might experience within a given domain, we want to be sure that ICANN holds those parties to the promises they made. So it's about availability and the integrity of both registrations and resolutions.
And that seems to be a very important mission given the nature of business on the internet. Since we actually do want to have more newcomers and participants join the ICANN community, including within the generic name supporting organization, I was wondering if from the both of you, if you have any words of advice to newcomers who may be thinking of participating in ICANN policy making or possibly even joining the BC.
Well, I would start by saying don't be shy and don't be scared about the ICANN community. We know that it can be intimidating, but actually, if you recognize our face around an ICANN meeting that you are joining, please come to us, ask questions, and engage with the community. Every point of view counts. Every questions is legitimate and it's important. So we really value new ideas. We really value new points of view, and we would be really happy to engage with newcomers.
Thank you. That generates a lot of other questions that I'm sure you'll be having people come up to you at ICANN meetings or reaching out to ask more about the business constituency and how to join. Steve, what do you think?
One of the most complex ways of entering ICANN is to walk into a meeting where you're encountering acronyms that mean nothing to you, or you're trying to understand arcane processes that you've never seen before. And the only antidote for that is to hook up early with another BC member that speaks your language, shares your culture. And I can promise you the BC member that's there to help you will explain some of these intricacies and complexities so that you can better appreciate why it's relevant to your business.
Thank you so much. Certainly this is a very welcoming community, and there are plenty of mentors, including the two of you, I should think. And so thank you very much for your time today, and thank you for telling us a little bit about the business constituency.
Thank you.